Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Race Nation TV with night number 2 of the Chili Bowl Nationals last night. I'm here to talk about it, and let's get into it. So what I said yesterday was it was going to be Kyle Larson versus Zeb Wise night, and things went very well for Kyle Larson. He pretty much dominated the night. Zeb Wise, P24, he's going to be in a D main, I believe, come Saturday. So the BC 39 champion, just getting straight into it here, the BC 39 champion, rough night for him. Yeah, that was, I'm surprised it's Larson and Jonathan Beeson that locked themselves into the A main last night. And like I said yesterday, not a big night. There's not a lot of notable names that you can look at last night besides Larson. And, I think that shows Larson dominated the night. No discredit to Larson, but like just to say tonight, it's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be a huge turnout. But yeah, Kyle Larson, dominated night. Not much to say about that. They did hold the Race of Champions last night, which was won by Christopher Bell. And if we're talking about Keith Kunz versus Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, I think out of that Keith Kunz stable, I think Rico Abreu is probably the person to take the fight to them. He's been quietly behind Larson and Bell the last 2 years when Bell's won, the last two. Keith Kunz has gone 5 straight. That's why this year's Chili Bowl has so much, hype to me. To me, this is why this year's Chili Bowl feels a little bit more important. It just has that little bit, if you know what I mean, it just has a little more emphasis to it because Keith Kunz has won the last 5 years, and then now they don't have their stars. They don't have Larson and Bell. They have Abreu. We've seen Cannon McIntosh is great. Tyler Courtney is great. We know their drivers are good. Webb, Ryan Newman, Ricky Stenhouse, they have good drivers. But can they win without Bell or Larson? I think Rico is probably the guy to do it. He's probably going to be the Keith Kunz guy to do it. But I got my Larson 410 shirt on from when I saw him win at Wayne County. He won last night. He's in the A main. He does this every year. Last night was his 6th prelim win, which puts him 3rd on the list or something like that. Sammy Swindell obviously is leading the most prelim night wins, but Kyle Larson getting up there with 6. That's pretty cool. Something very. I'm sure Larson is feeling a lot better now that his prelim night is over and he can just focus on that A main night, get through the pole dash, and just try and just have the best A main he can. Other than that, in news for the Chili Bowl, I'm pretty sure some of you saw this article go around Twitter where Matt Weaver, great reporter Matt Weaver, I tend to look at his stuff a lot. He's usually on it, and as he was last night, I'm not sure anybody else would have caught this, but he was on it. The track workers. So people, when they watch the Chili Bowl, if you've watched Chili Bowl, you mainly know that Tony Stewart does a lot of the track prep, but there's a guy. The other guy that does it, Gravel, he's probably more in it than Tony Stewart, and Tony Stewart just gets all the fame for it. But there's Gravel, and he noticed that the track really wasn't acting like it normally does. People were just throwing slide jobs unintentionally, and just the flip count's already at 31. And he noticed that, and so what he did was, we have this big argument on Twitter about sim racing and all this. Gravel, the guy who does the track, called Steve Myers from iRacing, because iRacing scanned the track back in 2018, so they got all of the perfect dimensions of the track from iRacing, measured the track, and so basically, the track's going to be totally different than what it was on Wednesday. If you don't follow dirt racing, this is probably one of the coolest parts and the hardest parts to understand if you're an outsider about dirt racing, is the track changes. You might, so let's just use for example my home track, the track I go to most, an hour away, Wayne County Speedway. Wayne County Speedway or Attica, any track, it might be a totally different track in the springtime when you start the season than it is in the end. It's because it's dirt, it's the earth, it's going to change. The way they prep the track, how much water they put into it, what they do changes how the track drives. And the Chili Bowl's the same way, being basically inside of a building, the track's going to change every year. So the guy who does the track, Gravel, every year he just kind of does it off feel and off of experience, and and he said, in his opinion, he got it wrong this year, and the track's been, driving different, and people have been doing uncharacteristic things, and the flip count's already too high, so they made a change. So the night's track might even be totally different, which definitely throws something into the mix here. Because you have to think, everybody who's done their prelim nights Monday to Tuesday, you don't get a lot of track time. You get your hot laps, you get your events, your prelim nights, and then you don't get to go out until the main. Now the guys who win their main, they're going to get the pole dash. So if the track's different, obviously guys like Kyle Larson, they've driven the track in 2018 to how it was then. But the track totally different. These guys, if the track's more like what it's going to be on Saturday than it was the last two nights, you know what I'm saying? I think the prelim nights from Wednesday on might have a slight advantage over the guys the last two nights. So that's going to be something interesting to follow. I'm going to hopefully talk more about that and see how that develops. For you NASCAR fans, something interesting from last night is Alex Bowman. I know there's a lot of Junior Nation that moved to Alex Bowman. He finished P10 last night, which will put him in a C main, not a B. I almost said a B, but basically how it works, if you look at the A mains and you want to know who's going A to D main, you don't want to go too far after that, because then it's just like you could probably spend like 2 hours trying to figure out who's going to where. We'll leave that up to the governing bodies of the Chili Bowl. Basically, first and second, they go straight to the A main. There'll be 10, so basically over 5 nights there'll be 10 guys that lock into the A main. And then it's like 3rd to 8th go B main. 8th to like 14th go C main. 15 to 20 go D main. Yeah, so it's 3 to 8 they go to the B main, 9 to 14 to the C main, 15 to 20 to D, 21 to 24 go to E's. And then like if you go way down, the C feature, the C main on prelim nights, they go to the O. They go to the very last main of Saturday. So the last thing to talk about, obviously getting towards the end here, the Wednesday lineup, tonight's lineup, the notables. Like I said, if you're a sprint car racing fan, you go to every race. Maybe your drivers are local. You might have more notables than I do, but just being a fan from Ohio that goes to a bunch of races and just kind of follows on social media, these are the guys that I recognize the most and probably the biggest names heading into the night. Like I know last night I read a bunch of things and it was all talking about Larson. Like I said, Larson was the guy last night. It was Larson, Alex Bowman, Zeb Wise. Those are the 3 names. Zeb Wise won the BC 39. Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman. Obviously, if you're a NASCAR fan, you know those guys. So these are your notables. Sammy Swindell, tonight's his night. Can he make the A? Sammy, he's used, I think he's used a provisional a couple times to get in, but he hasn't really. But Sammy, it's going to be interesting to see if he can make it in tonight, if he can go straight to the A or if he's going to have to come from like a C or a B. But I fully expect Sammy to be in the top 10 tonight. And then we have Brad Sweet in the 1R, the defending World of Outlaw Series champion. It's always interesting how these World of Outlaw guys adapt to midgets. And then a name that is J.J. Yaley in the 2G, your favorite Joe Gibbs Racing driver of the past, J.J. Yaley. I don't know. He comes back to the Chili Bowl every year. How's he going to do? I think the most interesting, second most interesting entry for this year's Chili Bowl, or maybe 3rd or 4th most interesting, but is the 6th end of Ryan Newman. He hasn't been doing it in a couple years. I saw something that he was a rookie this year for the Chili Bowl. I know Ryan Newman's done a bunch of open wheel stuff in his past, but if this is his first Chili Bowl, it's going to be something really interesting to follow to see how he finishes. He's in a Clausen Marshall racing car, but we'll have to see how he does. And then the niece of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carson Elledge, in the 08K. She's going to be racing tonight. She's been racing midgets in the USAC for about a year now, and she's not too bad. She's definitely learning, gaining experience. It's going to be interesting to see how she does. In the 14, Jesse Colwell. He won the KKM Give Back Classic in the Outlaw carts. You probably haven't heard his name, but I know, You know, he raced for Keith Kunz last year, and he did pretty well, so, I mean, he's a notable to me. Okay, and then probably the most interesting entry is happening tonight. Like I said, tonight is a big night. Like, I'm excited. I'm going to try and pay attention as closely as I can to tonight's, like, more than usual, because in the 18S with the Bird family, I'm pretty sure it's a Petrie Motorsports car, but Santino Ferrucci, the IndyCar driver, former F2 controversial driver, Santino, former Haas reserve driver. There's a Haas reserve driver racing in the Chili Bowl this year. How can you not be excited for that? Like, I'm so excited. If this doesn't tell you the driver Santino has become in America, then my word. I'm so excited for this, to see how he does, how he adapts. You know, Connor Daly, as we've seen, he's been a okay dirt driver. Like, he's adapted pretty well. Obviously, the driver Connor is, we kind of expect this from him, but like Santino, zero dirt experience, and they're just throwing him into the Chili Bowl. That's going to be amazing to watch. And then finally some guys in the 45X. Parker Price Miller, he's really good. I've seen him win some races. The 76G of David Gravel, the Knoxville Nationals winner from 2019. And then winner 3 years ago, Rico Abreu is in tonight. If I have to pick a winner for tonight, I'd say Rico is my pick. I think he's going to take himself straight into the A. I was talking to my friend Andrew last night. I think Rico Abreu is probably the dark horse that doesn't get thrown around in the, right now, because Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson are taking up all the hype. Which obviously I'm riding that Larson hype train. I hope he can do it, because like there's so many stories. Bell, if he could win 3 in a row. Rico is a part of that Keith Kunz story. Can Keith Kunz make it 6 in a row? And then can Larson finally get that monkey off his back? Those are the 3 stories. And then you never know. Someone like Cannon McIntosh, a 17-year-old, can just come in and win the whole thing. So that'll do it for this week, or for today. I'm going to hopefully put one up tomorrow, because there's obviously a lot of drivers to talk about tomorrow and how they do tonight. But this will do it for today. I'm hoping to do one tomorrow. I have work on Friday, so I don't think I'll be able to talk about Thursday. But Thursday is Christopher Bell's day, so I'm really hoping I can do something on Friday. Probably after work I'll do something, but that's going to put me really tight on constraint to record a full video for it. But I wanted to mention this Saturday, for the actual race itself, on my Instagram at RaceNationTV, I'm going to be live streaming the race. I don't think I'm going to be able to live stream like my TV and watching the race so you guys can watch it, because that would obviously break a lot of guidelines and not be okay. So I'll probably leave it in my face, but I'll kind of give you the gist of what's happening, and you can be able to see by my reaction. And then if enough people show up, we can kind of watch the race together, and talk about the Chili Bowl, talk about racing, anything, So just hoping to have a live stream going for the Chili Bowl this Saturday. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a YouTube live stream, but I think obviously my following goes back to Instagram a little bit heavier, so we'll probably do it there. And I don't know. Hopefully enough people show up, and we'll have a good time. This has been Race Nation TV, and I hope to see you in the next video.